Here's the headlines. Yamaha could be losing their lead sponsor. Dovi hits 40 whilst Jack Miller hits 200. Calamitous Brazil, America's up next. They're bringing in the baggers and some other news from World Superbikes. It's GP News and I'm back with a roundup of information that you might have missed from the world of MotoGP, right here on BikeznBeatz. First off, Yamaha's season gets worse. It's been rumoured that their lead sponsor, Monster Energy Drinks, are about to part ways with the factory team. While this will be damning for Yamaha, this could be an opportunity for more funding for other teams. Heading into 2027 with all the rule changes, and this year with their V4 development, you've got to think they really needed that money. It's also been rumoured that the sponsorship of individual riders will be kept. Former world champion Fabio Quartararo is sponsored by Monster Energy and he's wanting to move away from Yamaha anyway. So it waits to be seen where he'll end up and also where Monster will next. Dovi hits 40 and Jack Miller hits 200. Former MotoGP rider Andre Dovizioso had his 40th birthday this week. He's currently working with Yamaha in a sort of test rider development, go-between rider and mechanic sort of job. Dovi has been working with Yamaha since 2024 and actually in those years that he's been there, Yamaha's trajectory has kind of been downwards instead of upwards, but who knows, give him some more time and we might see some results there. In Brazil, Jack Miller achieved 200 GPs in the Premier class. Since 2015, he's ridden for 6 different teams. Jack initially rode for LCR Honda, then it was Mark VDS Honda until he moved over to Ducati where he rode for Pramac, the satellite team, and then he moved up to the full factory team. Jack moved across to KTM where he rode with the Red Bull factory team, and last year in 2025 we saw Prima Pramac move over to Yamaha, and that's where Jack joined his old crew. In those 200 full GPs, Jack has managed to get 23 podiums and 4 wins. Good on you, Jack. Here's to another 200. On to last weekend's Brazil GP. A bit of a calamitous start, really. Even before the weekend started, the track was underwater. It dried off, but that really set the scene for the rest of the GP. On the Friday, it was barely watchable, with lots of rain, riders not going out, delays, and when riders did go out, there was very slow times. Well, how can you top that? On day 2 on the Saturday, a sinkhole, yes that's right, a sinkhole, appeared on the track on the main straight. Of course, all riding and racing had to be stopped whilst they tried to fix it. And indeed, they did fix that hole. However, it took up most of the day. It was inspected and it was deemed that it was safe to race. However, Moto2 lost out in qualifying altogether and Moto3 timing was held after the sprint race. Luckily, the sprint was full of action and a great race it was. We saw Fabio Di Giannantonio battling with Marc Marquez until eventually Marc Marquez got the win. Digi in second and Jorge Martin in third. Great to be back on the podium, hey? Actually, it's worth pointing out that Fabio Di Giannantonio had a great weekend all round. I did tip him for this season and he's finally starting to come through. Yes, he is racing on a GP26 and he set the fastest time, qualifying first in Q2 with a 1 minute 17.410. Qualifying second was Marco Bezzecchi and qualifying third was Marc Marquez. So moving on to the Sunday, in Moto3 we had a crash with Scott Ogden causing a red flag. After the restart, Maxwell Quiles got the win, Marco Morelli in second and Veda Pratama in third. Now that's the first ever podium for an Indonesian rider. In Moto2, Danny Holgado got the win with David Munoz second and Manu Gonzalez in third. And then we came to the main event in the MotoGP Brazilian GP, the full race, or not as we know it. There was meant to be 31 laps, that's because the track is so short, but 4 minutes before the race started, Race Direction decided that the track was in such a bad condition that they should shorten the race by 25%. That means they only raced 23 laps. That's a hell of a difference, and teams had already thought out and planned their races. Is 4 minutes enough for the teams? Certainly not. Team bosses were not happy. But one thing you can say is it was fair for all teams because they all got the same amount of time, but come on. Dorna, MotoGP, you need to sort this out. The track was falling apart and stones were flying everywhere. Indeed, after the race, Many riders complained that they'd been hit with flying stones when they were following other bikes, and there's been pictures circulating online of different bruised parts of the body. Now come on, this is not good enough. These are the best riders in the world, racing on the best technology on two wheels, and they deserve better. America's up next. This weekend we return to America, or Circuit of the Americas, COTA as it's known, where Marc Marquez is king of COTA, having won 7 rounds there before. Now the track is a lot longer than Brazil. It's 5.5 kilometers or 3.4 miles roughly. So we're expecting about 20 laps in the GP, which would equate to about 10 laps in the sprint. Now the lap record of 2 minutes dead is held by Maverick Vinales, which he did in 2024 on an Aprilia. He actually won one of the 2 sprints, and guess who won the other one? Yep, that's right, King of COTA, Marc Marquez. So I think this is a chance for Ducati really to catch up and Marc Marquez to shine. So far Aprilia have been leading the way, and people have been asking the question, has Ducati lost it? I don't think so. I'll stick my neck out and say that Ducati are going to have a fabulous weekend with Digi, Alex Marquez and Marc Marquez really killing those laps. After Gresini, Ducati did a brilliant job of a special livery in Brazil. I'm hoping that in COTA we're going to see some special one-off liveries. We've already seen VR46 this week have released an absolutely mad design, and with the unveiling of the new Aprilia, the X, I think it's going to be known as, we may see that Star-Spangled Banner appearing on track. If not with the factory team, then maybe the Trackhouse team who used to have a similar design. It's bagger time. This weekend we're going to see the first ever round of the Baggers World Cup, I think it's known as. It's an idea brought about by Dorna and Harley Davidson, and we're going to see 6 rounds accompanying the MotoGP season. So it's not all rounds, and it's not all laps. There's only about 7 laps in total. These machines are 45-degree V-twin engines, 4-stroke of course, naturally aspirated, so no turbos, no superchargers, but they're around 2 litres in cubic capacity. These souped up baggers are putting out around 200 brake horsepower and achieving around 300 kilometers an hour or 186 miles an hour as their top speed. Now, is this just a joke series? I don't know. It looks like it could be fun to watch. I'm sure if I was there at the track, I'd probably watch it. However, they look ridiculous. What's your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments. So the baggers replaced Moto E on the calendar, temporarily suspended. We'll wait and see if they come back. If MotoGP and Dorna are trying to put forward this eco-friendly green footstep, reducing emissions and stuff like that, why are they getting rid of the electric bikes and replacing them with gas-guzzling 2-litre V-twins? And finally, a little bit of World Superbike news. This weekend, former MotoGP rider Somkiat Chantra is back from injury, and he's going to compete in his first World Superbike Championship. It's in Portimao, which is Miguel Oliveira's home track. Of course, he switched over from MotoGP to World Superbike as well as Somkiat Chantra, King Kong. Miguel told me that he's going to win there again. He did mean it during MotoGP, but he had an injury-plagued, terrible season with Yamaha last season. And so I'm hoping that he'll have a better round with BMW, and can we see him on that podium? So leave your comments, please press like and follow or subscribe depending on what platform you're on. Stay tuned for more GP news and other bike related stuff on Bikes and Beats. Oi!